Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tian. How are you? I'm good, I'm doing really well. On this channel, we talk about mental health medical students. But before I start today, I need to tell you a joke. So today we were having dinner and we were watching, we like to watch something when we have dinner. And we were watching Jamie Oliver cook, right? So, I don't know if you know, but if you watch a lot of these TV chefs, this specific thing that they do when they cook is I really love Jamie Oliver, don't get me wrong, but he uses so many words to describe the most basic dish. He made literally chicken and rice, and then he was holding this chicken and he was looking at it and he was like, oh, this succulent juicy chicken, packed with flavor, packed with love, and I'm sure your friends will love it because they can taste the love you have. And then I was just watching it and I was telling my partner do you know the best thing that Jamie Oliver has cooked is a word salad. Right. Anyways, today I want to talk to you why I felt that people who were dumber than me in medical school was outperforming me. So this is actually not a clickbait, but it kind of is. I'll explain why. If you feel the same way, there are people in medical school that they just seem like they're chilling all the time and they're not really doing anything. And then whenever you see them, they're either partying or they're in a cafe, they're living the medical student aesthetic lifestyle, they're not actually working hard. And then when it comes to exam season, they actually pass and sometimes they get even a better score than you. Whereas you are planning to study and you're actually studying, spending hours and hours in the library or in your study spot, and then you're just fully sinking into this study environment and you still are struggling to pass. So that's been me basically for the past 3 years, and I've reflected upon this and I want to share with you 3 things that these people do that really outperformed me in the easiest way possible. It's literally so simple once you know it, and they just do it. And I don't do these 3 things and they make it so simple to pass any exam, whereas if I keep doing what I was doing, I probably would have been failing right now, because the content in medical school, as you know, just it builds up over time and you need to know more and more stuff in order to pass your exams, right? So actually I said dumber because I thought they were not as smart. I thought they were wasting time and they're not a good work ethic. But then when I see they're actually passing, the exams, I'm like, they're not really stupid, but they're not studying. So maybe what they've been doing is effective, right? And that equals smart. So I'm like, who is the stupid one now? So the first thing that I want to tell you about that these people do is that they don't care about mistakes, okay? So let's write this down. They don't care about mistakes. So what does that mean? That means that they are willing to throw themselves into any sort of learning environment without worrying about making mistakes. It's really simple, but I, as a first and second year and a bit of my third year, was so scared about making mistakes, especially on the ward or in a class. I would never be the person who shouts out an answer or volunteers to perform a physical examination, because I was just so worried about making mistakes. And the reason for that is obviously because I want to do well. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to people's perception of me. I don't want them to think that I'm stupid. So what I've noticed and observed, obviously I won't name anyone, then because if they see this video, they're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. But I've realized that some people, they don't really care about that aspect of things. They don't really care about people judging them and thinking they're doing something really stupid, and they just go for it. And then when they do make a mistake, they actually learn more effectively, right? They learn right there and then. Whereas the mindset that I've been having was, okay, there was a learning point there today. I'm gonna take a note of that, but I'm not actually gonna learn it. I'm gonna go home, search it up, learn it properly, make it into notes, memorize it, and then, replicate, make it into flashcards, and then memorize it again before the exam. So that whole process could have been, much more done much more effectively if you just volunteer to do this one thing in class, said the answer, it was 100% wrong. It was even wrong to the point that it's even funny, and then you feel a bit humiliated, but you don't really care. But it really made you remember the answer, the correct answer, and then you remember that for the rest of your life. So including before the exams, you don't really have to go through it again. You might just read through it quickly for like 5-10 minutes, and then you've got it. So that I've realized is such a much more effective way to learn. Only if you don't really care about making mistakes that much. And I can think of something really funny. I just need to say it. Like, we were doing a physics examination, and my really good friend in medical school, he was gonna perform like a GI exam, and he approached the patient. This is not a real patient. Like, we were doing it on each other, and then he panicked because it was one of the first time he was doing that. And then the first thing you do is called general inspection, right? So you say, I'm approaching the patient bed. I'm just gonna inspect the patient, and I'm gonna look for any scars, abnormalities, tissue atrophy. I'm gonna see if there's any walking aids, any things that, any medications. And then he said, I'm gonna inspect the patient generally. And it made no sense at all. And then everyone was just looking at him, and it was really funny. But then he would never say that again in the real OSCE exam, right? And then another friend of mine, I know I've got some weird friends, he was doing examination again, and then he was doing like a lower limb exam, and then when he was like again generally inspecting the feet, he said foot fingers instead of toes. Yeah, so, but when you make those mistakes and when you are brave like that, you don't make those mistakes in real life. When when you're with a real patient, you won't embarrass yourself, and then everyone's having a laugh. So that was a good memory. So that's the first thing, that they don't really care about mistakes. And second thing is that they don't really think. Okay, so it's gonna sound bad, but it's actually good. So they don't think. Now, when I say think, what I really mean is they don't overthink. Because overthinking, especially if you're a med student in med school, is one of the worst things you can do, okay? Because I overthink so much, and it's such a waste of time. I mean, sometimes you figure out stuff, but 80% of the time, you're kind of going in loops. So one of the things that I overthink a lot is on study method. Okay, so this is what my mind goes on for. Let's say one academic year has 12 months. Okay, so what I usually do, what my mind goes is, when the term starts, I'm going, oh, this term I'm gonna be on it. Like, you're like that as well. Like, let's be honest. I'm gonna be on it. I'm gonna start studying from day one. Like, after every traumatic exam, I'm gonna study from day one. So month 1 to 3, you're like, right, I need to build the perfect system to study. Right? Am I right or not? So you go, okay, what's the perfect? And you start searching on YouTube. And then you come across a video by Ali Abadal that tells you that spaced repetition and active recall are the best way to study. And then you realize you need to use, Anki or your Brainscape, or what's the other one called? Some flashcard app, right? So you do flashcards. So flashcards, you're convinced that flashcards are the best way to study, okay? Now, then after 3 months, you realize that there's just so many flashcards that you can never get through them. I mean, you learn like one lecture that has 50 slides, but you realize for each one of those slides, you have to make 5 flashcards, so that's 250 flashcards. And then in like one module, you have 50 lectures. Okay, so that's 50 times 250, which is 7,500 flashcards. And then you're not going through them until the last minute. So all of those flashcards pile up, and then you go, flashcards doesn't work. So this time that when you pick up your pen and paper and you've done it for one day and you loved it. You love how romantic it is to write your own notes on paper, how the kinetic energy, how you can feel it, how like there are actually research that suggests that writing things down helps with your memory. So from now I'm gonna write my notes down like a proper medical student from the 60s, right? So and you go pen and paper. But then all of the lectures that you've done before, you have to redo them because you need it to be perfect. You're obviously a perfectionist, so you go pen and paper. But then after another 3 months, okay, so now it's in summer now, okay, you realize, okay, this is so inefficient. I'm not going to finish everything, and also I have like 10 lectures to catch up on because obviously it's so slow to do them. When I do them, I do enjoy it, but then over time, I get used to the process. It doesn't stimulate me as much as it's first started to. So you go, actually, pen and paper doesn't work, flashcard doesn't work, but I know flashcard, so I'm gonna start typing notes down, and then you realize that's a good idea, right? But the lectures before, maybe I should redo them, or at least I need to upload my written notes onto some system Notability, so everything is in one place. So by the end, I can revise them. But then, after another 3 months, you realize, yes, you were typing your own notes at the start, but over time you start copy and pasting from zero to finals, and then you go, what's the point of this? I could just use zero to finals. And then you enter an era of, you know what? I need to start study smarter than harder. I have all of these perfect resources, so I can just focus. I just use the book. Why don't I just use the textbook and then focus on actually absorbing the information? So you go zero to finals or osmosis or geeky medics. I'm just gonna use the no notes. And then you happen to find a video on YouTube that says, why do I take no notes in medical school and still pass? And you watch that video and then you happen to agree with everything the guy says in that video. So you have no notes from June to October. You haven't been taking any notes. And then October comes, let's say your exam is in December, you have 2 months, and you realize that you haven't actually learned just about anything, and you start to cram, and you start searching out videos on how to cram for exam, which I have made a video about, so you can go watch that if this should describe your life. But this has basically been me every single year since I entered med school. So like even my parents, like, have you been working hard? Yes, I've been working, like I am exhausted. But have you actually learned anything? No. But then if you haven't been working hard, why haven't you learned anything? Well, this is why, because I've been overthinking stuff, and every time I'm smart enough to convince myself that this is the best thing ever until I realize it's not. Until I realize that, you have no notes for a while. I can complete a cycle if you want. You have no notes for a while, then you realize, do you know what? The way they write these notes are not the way I understand these, so I actually need to write my own notes. Anyways, so this has been me. So you overthink on your study method, right? You overthink on getting to study every single day. You overthink about, I can't study in the car because this is not good for my eyesight. I can't study in lecture. There are people who just study and they don't really care about what the professor is saying because they know it doesn't help them. But you're feeling guilty. You're like, but I'm missing out. I have FOMO. I need to watch, but then I'm not taking in anything. But I can't really focus on studying. And you can't study if there's only 1 hour left today, because you can't really get into the flow. So you have to wait until another day where you have a whole afternoon. So really, the time that you get where you can study properly is like one Sunday afternoon each week, right? One Sunday afternoon where you have nothing going on and you have 4 hours. You're like, okay, I'm gonna study this weekend. I haven't been studying this week. And then the Sunday afternoon comes, you have to be so lucky that you realize all your laundry's by all magic done this week. Don't know when you did them. All the groceries are in the fridge already. Don't know when you did them. And no one's asking you to go out for any social events. And you are not ruined by scrolling on TikTok for 2 of those 4 hours. And if by all magic all of those things happened, then you may just study for 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so you overthink on getting to study, and you overthink on getting things done, and because of all of this, you overthink like, what is wrong with me? That, okay? So this is what happens. So the people I've realized that do really well is they're not actually working hard. They're not working hard. They're not. They're chilling, right? They're not working hard on um, on anything, and you're not working hard on studying, but you're working hard on all of this crap, which is why you're basically like, I don't know, you're like swimming in the pool, but you're standing up. Like you're like vertical, and you're swimming upwards, and you're not going forward. So comparing to the people who swim really slowly forward, you're still slower than them, if you see what I mean. So instead, what you should do, if you can, I know this is much harder said, much easier said than done, is don't overthink anything. Find a study method that the people in the year above has told you will work, and just do that. Stick to it. So if you think flashcards is also like, do a mixture of everything, do flashcards for pharmacology, and maybe do draw things out for anatomy, and draw things out for like algorithms for treatment and management. And don't aim to have all your notes in one place. Don't have all of these these obsessions that I need to have everything organized in one place. So let's say if I and I have multiple backup of something, you're not gonna lose it, right? You're not gonna lose it. If you want to find anything nowadays, you can. If you want to find your notes, even if they're in 7 different places, you can just spotlight it if you're using a Mac, or you can just Control F it. So it's not that hard. Don't hold that obsession, because that will make you overthink. And when you're learning, if you go onto the wards or if you go to class, get involved. Don't get scared, or don't worry about making mistakes. Get involved. Like, aim to learn right there and then, whatever works. Like if going to class doesn't work but you have to attend, just study on your own without like be ruthless. Don't really think about, oh, what is that teacher saying? It doesn't work. Just do your own thing, or get involved and make mistakes and volunteer and learn there and then. So the worst thing you can do is collect a list of things to learn, and then, okay, I need to go through all of them, and then I can't go through them today because I'm tired. Maybe tomorrow, but then tomorrow I've got the thing, I've got the society. Maybe on Thursday, but Thursday I need to go to the gym, and also I need to get food. Maybe I'll do it Friday, but then that's Friday night, come on. And then maybe I'll do it on Saturday, but then that's Saturday, come on. Maybe I'll do it Sunday. Yeah, okay, let's do it on Sunday, but Sunday you wake up at 12 and you need to go get food again. Yeah, Okay, last thing, because I know I'm going on and on, is they don't judge themselves. So this is probably the most important one, because the biggest thing that has been holding me back is myself, because I feel insecure. I have strong imposter syndrome, and the people who just get on with it, they don't know that they don't know something. They sometimes they're not even aware that they should be insecure about their knowledge. They just carry that confidence that they'll just turn up, and then they think they know everything, and then they get humbled, and then they're like, you know what, I learned a lot, so I'm probably smart. So this is this is actually there's some wisdom in that. Like, you shouldn't judge yourself on everything. Like, if you go to lecture, you're not supposed to know everything about it, but because you know so little, you feel like, I mean, I almost sometimes feel like, because I know so little of something, I don't even want to listen, or I don't even want to accept the knowledge they're giving out, because that would just expose how little I know of it, and I don't like that feeling, you know, and I'm just gonna start judging myself, thinking I'm stupid. So I think this is a bit similar to the first one, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but these are the three things I've realized that people who seem like they're doing less than me are actually able to outperform me in medical school. And I want you to do those things if you're still in your first and second year, because this will honestly save you so much time, energy, and mental health, and you'll be able to actually save time to travel, to go out with friends, to, you know, drink alcohol if you want. Do that, you know, it's stressful. Is about, I just want to say, is this, you know, there are people who are just, they look lucky and they're just doing well, but sometimes they aren't aware of it. They aren't aware that there's, or let's say they're unaware that there's so much going on in someone who's anxious and feeling insecure, you know, all of these things. So what I want to do with this channel, before we click off, you know, before I go to bed, is I want to teach you exactly how to do these things. Plus, while you're still aware of the fact that you are improving yourself, you're not just becoming, let's say, you don't care about making mistakes and you go to, you do something insensible. We don't want to do that. And you don't think at all. If someone tells you to do something, you do it even if it's the wrong thing to do. You don't want to do that. And you don't judge yourself at all. I mean, you need to have self-awareness. So you still want to be aware, but from the past 4 to 5 years, I've kind of figured out how you can achieve these things through kind of self-improvement and through realizing certain things. And I want to teach those things to you, but also, you know, I'm not above you. I'm literally, yeah, I'm you tomorrow. So I just want to tell you those things before you get to my stage. That's all. So if that interests you, leave a like and comment and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.